Hello, everyone. This is Ari Moshe Wolf of Heart and Soul Centered Astrology. I'm going to share another insight into this upcoming solar eclipse happening this weekend in Virgo. But to do that, I want to give some attention to its opposition to Saturn-Neptune, the Saturn-Neptune being on the Aries-Pisces cusp. So check this out here, and I've spoken about this. You can check it out. I'll post it above, where I spoke about the importance of this new moon in opposition to the Saturn-Neptune. This is a very important conjunction to Saturn-Neptune, and this new moon is really highlighting it. It's essentializing the core teachings. And so when we're really tuning into this upcoming eclipse, we have to appreciate it's bringing us into the heart, literally the midpoint of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So I'm going to highlight something about this right here. Let's just appreciate first, Neptune's about to move into Pisces. They're both retrograde. Existentially, this is the height of a letting go, of a dissolving, of a loosening. The new cycle, the new phase in Aries is representing in a very strong way, and this is next year, the beginning of a new path, of a new cycle. There's so much disillusionment, letting go, endings, dissolving happening in this conjunction. And I think in that conjunction, it could be very, very easy to begin to believe that we're lost, that we can't attain our dreams, that all the goodness that we want in life, that which we thought was going to happen, it's not, too far gone, it's lost. And I was watching this video recently, and I'll post it in the description below. It was a beautiful message. I just don't remember the man who shared this. He said, oftentimes we need to let go or walk away or allow for a failure relative to what we were trying to achieve. This happens in order for God's timing, the flow of the Tao, for truth to take over and be a little more involved in leading the process. But in this letting go, we kind of necessarily have to be emptied out because we wanted to get there. We wanted to achieve and reach whatever we wanted in life. And there's a necessary disappointment or disillusionment or, oh man, I didn't want it to be like this. But we have to, in order to allow for a process and a wisdom and a truth and a power greater than ourselves to lead the way. Often, in not knowing when to let go, I'll say often the work very hard to make it. It's a good ethos and it's true. And I can find a lot of moments in my life where I had to put forth effort. And things wouldn't have happened if I didn't try. But there's a difference between that and edging on dysfunction, where we're working so hard, we create disease for ourselves and stress, and we're no longer present. We're no longer well, right? Where the goal, be the traditional, make the money and work really hard, but to the detriment of what? So very often, the thing that we miss, the thing that we lose, that we don't allow ourselves to receive and have, is faith. Because when we're trying so hard to make it, we're basically saying, if I don't work so hard right now, it's not going to happen. But there's a difference between the healthy efforts that are needed on the path and where we need to also relax and allow and know when to let go, know when to trust the timing and the unfolding, like the labyrinth path that doesn't work in such a purely linear way. Right? We often think we're getting so close, then we get further behind, but we're actually still progressing. There's an intuitive wisdom and a trust and a faith that we all need in order to trust that the path doesn't work in the linear ways that we want it to go. I'm going to get there now in my plan, in my timing. No. And this Saturn-Neptune in so many ways says that. So in that letting go, often walking away from a good thing, but being honest about it's not working, it's not functioning. In allowing for failure, it's easy to judge ourselves. And I think Saturn in general is where we get stuck on judgment. And sort of the Saturn-Neptune is almost like ultimate, I failed at this life. I failed. Spiritually, I'm a failure. I've missed it. Do better next time. Like this can be a really deep, and if it is, please hear these words. This might be a part of the process. And in fact, the deeper sense of failure and not making it and disappointment that might be present in our lives might be the precursor to a deeper spiritual opening. Because what this wants to do is open us up to the path. So form, structure, definition, the parameters, that which is defined, all of that is Saturn. Neptune is love, God, truth. And we never want for the structures and the forms in our life to become louder, to take precedence over love, over truth. Because then we lose the meaning. We forget what's really true. We forget what this is all about. This is everything, every role and form that we play in life. It's just a vessel, a vehicle. And we have to be able to access, am I connected to the infinite empty core underneath the forms? Or has the form gotten too real that I'm now overly conditioned by the materiality of life? So a friend of mine posted in a recent video, and she wanted to hear more about this idea of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction as lightening the load. We can think of this in many ways, but I think at the core, it's lightening all that we're carrying. All of what we should be, all of what we wanted to be, all of what we wanted life to be, and all of what we wanted ourselves to become. So this individual in this YouTube video is saying, when we let go, there's often a sense of failure or missing out on opportunities, not being where we want. But that's often followed by a phase of growth and success, unlike anything that we've seen. Suddenly we're making a lot of money, or our Instagram following immediately booms, or we find that good relationship, or things come together and we let go of the apartment and it was really hard, but then we found our dream home by actually being without a plan for a time. There's something really powerful in this letting go, even if it's hard, and letting it become a strengthening of our trust. There's that famous, I think Morgan Freeman played God in one of those movies, Bruce Almighty, I think. And it was like paraphrasing the idea. If you ask God, if you pray for peace, then God will give you a situation that will be unpeaceful so you can learn how to be a peaceful person, right? So many of the conditions and the non-linear flow of our life is actually teaching us how to step into the person that we want to become. So we have to trust that. We have to allow for where things don't feel good and easy and difficult, but lightening the load, we'll know within our own integrity. With this Virgo eclipse, it's like there can be a big load here. A lot of details, a lot of tasks, a lot of things to clean up. And you got to ask yourself the question, like, do I need to be doing all of this? Can I lighten the load? Can I take some space, simplify my responsibilities? What am I really responsible for? What am I still trying to play out as an old identity? Maybe there's another phase that is yet to come where it'll be a lot easier. It's like trying to set up a business as an astrologer and to make money, but you've never really trained in astrology and you're not necessarily very skilled at it and you don't have very good business skills, but you might be constantly like, oh, I'm not getting clients. And it's like, slow down. To give an example, what if you just let go, right? What if you just let go of trying to get clients and decide to get a job at some other place? Make it easy. And in that time, you can take a training program, right? You can learn some business skills, right? You can actually allow yourself to grow into where you want to become instead of constantly facing your own falling short, being inadequate. Saturn is the child and the adult. So the child shouldn't yet be an adult. The child shouldn't yet have the skills. And we all have innate qualities and gifts, but Saturn is development. We have to refine it and develop it. So develop the skills. Give yourself the time and let time feel like a gift. Let time feel like life is giving you the opportunities to mature and to grow and for things to come together. That's not harsh. That's loving. That's kind. That's a loving relationship with time. That's how a parent would be with a child. You don't have to get there right now. Let's do these things first, right? There's time. It's almost that harsh, I got to get there now. It's not just a lack of faith. It's an internal cosmological relationship with God that's like, I'm being judged. Something's wrong with me if I can't make it. Let life be more loving and kind and gentle than we often have believed it to be. So we have to learn to be more kind and gentle to ourselves. Let ourselves grow into our potential, so we grow into the adulthood. We grow so that as we actually literally get older, it's easy. Right? There are not a lot of like stones unturned. We're thorough. That's the prayer, really, that especially with this Virgo, it's really going to highlight where there is dysfunction in our life, where we have normalized dysfunction. And if we're not willing to slow down or maybe let go of some of our values or our goals, and to allow for a reorganization and a reassessment, we might find ourselves significantly stressed at this time. So these are prayers to hold as we're moving into this eclipse. The prayer really here is, for me and for you, for all of us, there's a way to walk this path that is thorough, that doesn't bring debt, right? A whole lot of unresolved baggage into the next moment. Unresolved grievances, literal debt, unresolved ambitions, things that we're trying to compensate for constantly because we didn't get it. There's an allowing ourselves to actually start right now on the path where we're not running away from the building blocks, the foundation, that which is really grounding, that which will take us there. I'll say majority of our motives in life, I actually feel are fueled by inadequacy or insecurity, right? Like, I was bullied as a child, so I'm going to try to become this person, right? I didn't have any money, and now I lost a lot of money. Now I got to make sure I get a lot now. And, I was told that if you're no good, if you can't do this, I'm going to make sure that I am this and that no one ever looks at me bad this way. I mean, there are so many subconscious stories that we tell ourselves. That means we won't allow ourselves to wiggle out of them. Like, there's a tightness, like I have to be this. But there comes a point on the spiritual path where like that too has to be seen. The stress, the harshness that we hold towards ourselves to have to be this kind of person and make a life that works this and that way. We have to let that sort of soften a bit, so we can begin to live a life that's not fueled by these fundamentally unconscious insecurities, where it's fueled more by the Dharma, the true authentic calling of our soul. What brings us joy? What is the way that we show up in the world that connects us deeply to the divine, where we're showing up and we're expressing our deepest inspiration and love? Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, our happiness and our fulfillment is the most important thing here. And I believe that our fulfillment and happiness comes in doing God's will. And God's will and our will, like the will of the Tao, loves truth, right? It's not like this separate entity that's like, you want this, and that, but oh, no. I actually want this of you. Like, God's will is in our own heart. It's actually what we want too. We just can't be our own best teachers, right? Like, I'm deciding the parameters and the timelines for everything. This is co-creation. It is co-creation. And there is a greater path for us that resonates with our deepest dreams and who we are designed to be, if we are truly and sincerely open to walking the path there. So this is my prayer, my offering for today. Thank you for watching. A couple announcements. Check the description for all of my offerings, my sessions, my newsletter, where I often will write teachings along with these videos. My soul-to-soul companionship sessions are these bulk group sessions that I offer for those that want to work with me more long-term. I have a training program that I teach live, but it's also available all year as a self-study program, and you can always upgrade to join the live cohort when we begin every March or April or so. Lastly, the Evolutionary Astrology Conference will begin next week. We're offering a promotion of $100 off the conference. Myself and 14 other evolutionary astrology colleagues will be teaching. So if you're new to this work, this might be a fun opportunity to be exposed to some of the teachers of this work and learn more about this paradigm and how we interpret the planets and kind of connect with that ecosystem a bit. So $100 off, coupon code LEGACY. You can check it all out in the description below. Much love and many blessings to us all.